So we are doing now in Shaar HaBitachon. Bitachon when fulfilling personal mitzvot. And basically, it's so interesting because we all know. Was that? Oh, we know that when somebody does a mitzvah, and for us, we don't say thank you. We say tiskei mitzvot, right? You should be zohed to do a mitzvah. To do a mitzvah is like you could want to do a mitzvah, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to. We're not all, we want, I remember when I first became religious, I asked if anyone knew Yaakov Smith. I asked him.
Yaakov Smith?
What? So I asked him, how could, this is like, I don't know, 35 years ago or something, so go back to what was going on in Russia, and people were not allowed to put on tefillin, right?
In Russia.
Right. So I said, how could a person be obligated in Russia to put on tefillin? They're not allowed to. And he answered me, how could a person be obligated to have children? It's not up to them either. So whatever it is, we could want to do a mitzvah, and that's about as much as what we have to do. The people.
It's available.
It's what?
Sorry?
It's available for us.
Now it is. I'm just
What's
saying
the word you said?
available.
Oh.
It's possible. No, my point is we could want to do a mitzvah and not be successful in it. So basically that is from Hashem. So we have to remember that you have to be bitachon when it comes to that also. Like whatever we're doing, we have to keep in mind whatever we're doing, we're saying Hashem, please help me get this done.
Whether I ask a question, this is bothering me. How could they tell someone's putting on tefillin if you have the privacy of your own home? Although I have relatives in Russia, my grandparents went in the 70s to Russia after it not being there since they left right before World War II. And I remember my grandmother saying that it was so impressive there. She said the walls have ears.
Wow.
Her family in Russia said the walls have ears.
Wow.
So, but still, I mean, not filling your privacy of your home.
Maybe they didn't
Well, I didn't
have
even
it.
know. Yeah, I didn't even know how they were able to get to Philly.
Right.
No, but in Russia, you don't know anything. What can you do? You just.
No, I'm talking about for the ones who really did and really wanted to. Okay, there's a story that's unbelievable. It's like an incredible story. There was somebody had a baby, and they had to give the boy a bris, which was illegal.
In Russia?
Yeah, it was illegal. So what were they going to do? So finally, they got together. I don't know if it was on the 8th day. They finally got together. I don't think a minyan, but they got a moil, and they did everything they did to get the baby a bris. And then after the bris, they gave the baby to the mother to go into the other room to nurse the baby. And all of a sudden they hear boom. They go in there, and what happened? The mother fainted. What happened? She made a neder that she will not kiss her baby until the baby has a bris. Because she was really afraid that she was not going to be able to med and silent. She was not going to be able to do it because she knew how dangerous it was.
Neder that she would not kiss her baby.
So after her baby had a bris and she went to the room and she finally gave her all that emotion, she gave her baby a kiss.
She what?
Fainted.
Oh.
But I know Cotton met in nursing home. She was in Russia, and her father told me the boy came from another city, with complete secret. They did in their house, and the boy lived in their house for a few days. And then it was like a complete secret. Nobody knew it, but she did the priest. And she told me, I said, but the son was how he had the priest told me the story, but in St. Petersburg, there is no more, there is nothing, there is just, at least I
It's
did not
so
know.
hard coming from America, Canada, to grasp that concept in our age, in our day.
Of that, but
Of
so
that
right. But we
And,
could
you know,
think,
Leah and Tatiana, you listen
Right.
to that story.
right. But there are other things. There are other things. We don't have to go so far as forbidden. There's plenty of things that people go to America or Canada on vacation, and all of a sudden do you need something? No, I just want to make sure to give you the code.
She wants to join us, but she knows it's such a great class.
No, but especially when you're achieving to do something, you're not able to do it.
No, okay, no, so I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these people who go to on vacation. And this is like a good thing to say before, as the summer comes up. These people go to vacation and all of a sudden their standards change. All of a sudden their standards change. They go to America and they don't wear socks. Maybe they don't wear socks here.
I go to Spot and I don't wear socks.
Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay, right. Or I'm saying that people all of a sudden, they don't keep Calder Fitzgerald. Here they keep, my son brought home Ben and Jerry's ice cream. And I'm like looking at the Chalav Stam, it's OUD. I don't need it. I don't need it. And every time it's not easy.
Wow.
But whatever, or it should be my hardest thing. But this is what we're talking about. We're talking about like, getting
You
your,
got the one who goes to in the bikini swimming in Florida?
what?
The one who puts on a bikini and goes swimming in Florida? With somebody who.
Oh,
goes in-
Michelle. Oh, right. So basically, the bottom line is we have our free choice about if we're going to do a mitzvah, but at the end of the day, it's really Hashem that's going to make it happen. And that's why we say tiskeh. You should merit to do a mitzvah. It's a schut to do a mitzvah. So we have to keep. So Hashem is the one who decides if we're going to get it done, but we're the ones who we have to decide. Let's say and it's really something, and I didn't bring my Kobos Levavos with me. It's so interesting that over here he adds a short tefillah. There's a tefillah in chapter 4 in this part. There's 2 times there's a tefillah. There's this, and then at the end, which is very emotional because we got to the end. But here, because the Rebbeinu Bachai knows that this can be really difficult because nobody knows what what's your intention and how hard you're trying or how hard you're not trying. Like you go out with some friends and they want to go somewhere and you don't want to go there. Kasha standards, SNEA standards, whatever it is, you don't want to seem like the Fermi. They talk about this a lot. This is like something that you don't know. We don't know. How. So my advice is you make a big fat excuse and say, "My goodness, I would love to go dancing in that mixed place, but I have a sore ankle." You don't go, whatever. If other people are more like, listen, remember All for the Boss? If anyone has not read that book, I should read it again.
Yeah.
It's the best book. Sorry, what?
Reread that.
Yeah.
I have a book if somebody wants to read it, you can borrow it from me. All for them.
You have it?
I
Yeah.
have it, yes.
So
I
maybe
have.
bring it next week if you remember. I'll remind you.
If
Anyways,
somebody wants to borrow it, then I will bring
yeah,
it.
I would like to.
Yeah.
So what he went around the beaches, right? With like this placard, it's like no mix, and the thing is that I always quote him because he had a store and he had obviously an alarm system, but he always kept a window open just a tiny bit because he didn't want to say, oh, I'm leaving and I feel good that my store's not going to get robbed because of an alarm system. No, it's going to get, no. He wanted to make sure that his bitachon was in the right place. Okay, so he gives steps in order to perform a mitzvah. So or an avera. First one is we choose. Like the first step is basically you choose that you're going to be an Eved Hashem. You're going to choose that this is what you're going to do. Oh, that's beautiful. You could decide to become a ger. You could decide to become a Baal Tshuva, whatever. That's the Bagadol, right? The next one is he prepares himself and sets his mind to actually carry out what he plans to do. Okay, so let's say, for example, kosher in your kitchen. Okay, so I'm trying to think of a different example because most of us have kosher kitchens already, but like you want to take on something else. I know you're gonna set up a chavrusa with somebody. You're going to, that's not really a chiyuv though, but it's actually for a
Different level
woman.
of texture. Would that be
Okay,
something?
yeah, you're gonna take on a higher level of texture. If anyone in this day and age does not keep cholesterol in Israel, I shouldn't judge anyone, but you can get almost anything.
Except Ben and Jerry's.
No, there are. There's certain flavors. There's chocolate. Hey, or cheese, there's cheese puffs. No, you heard somebody. Cheese puffs. Cheese doodles are OUD.
Come
Yeah.
on, guys.
Exactly. Yay. Okay, good. Okay. Now, and then that's the second one. The third one is applying effort to actually perform the act and bringing it to fruition. This is what we have. We have free choice to do mitzvah or nevera, and it's really set out for us. We have the Torah. We have, yes, we have questions, and you should have a rough, but Bagadol, we mostly know what Hashem wants from us. So it's there's no like what do you call it, excuses. And also he says, don't wait to get inspired. I wish I could remember this story. It had something to do with some Chabadnik and some guy on the street where the Chabadnik was. This could be like 25,000 different places I could be. That the Chabadnik said to this man, you want to put on tefillin? And he said, you know what? I'm thinking about it. I'm learning about tefillin. After I get to a certain place, that I'm going to start putting it on. Wrong. Put on the tefillin. Then learn about it. Of course, learn about it. Learn the halachas. Learn the chassidus behind it. Learn about tefillin, of course. But don't say, until I understand it, I'm not going to do it. We'll actually be in big trouble.
Have you noticed in the stores, I see it in Rosh Pina, I don't know about Tzfat, for like a year or more, they have tefillin
Oh,
stands
yeah.
in the
Oh,
stores
yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have in Chatzor also.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
amazing.
Is the most recent ones, most of them like Ishmael Kaine,
Wow.
like the one that's written in here, the two guys from Tzfat that were killed in, no.
So when it says in the Torah, choose life, right? It means choose good, choose mitzvot, choose what Hashem wants from you, which we know what it is. And we have to choose to do the right things, and we have to choose to actually carry it out. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I think this would be good, or that would be good, or I take down a sefer. I'm going to start learning Derech Hashem, and it's on the table. And on Erev Shabbos, I put it back on the bookshelf, and then I take it out. Like it's also not such a great example because we're talking about mamash mitzvahs and averos here. That's what he's talking about. How many?
From your earnings, I've done the same thing. I pull things off the shelf, and put it on the table like this. I want to get to it, the details of daily life, and especially mothers and wives, makers. Where you like, there's
Right.
You want to get to it. The fact that it yearns.
Sure. Yeah, but I guess what I'm trying to say, I think what he's trying to say is that the yearning's not enough. Of course, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. That's why it's not such a good example. A better example is like Lashon Hara. Like, okay, I'm not going to make this phone call now because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hold back. I'm not sure. I have really nice piece of juicy thing, and even if I say without a name, and she might know who it is, this is what we're talking. We're talking about like we really do have a choice of doing right or wrong, and it says in the Torah, choose life, and it says, what is life? Life is good. Hashem is life, right? But it's not in our control the completion of the mitzvah, but it's in our control to try as much as we can. And if a person will say, I choose neither good nor bad. So what happens to him? His feet will have stumbled off the proper direction. This is from the Chosel. That's a direct quote. If a person says, I'm not going to choose good, I'm not going to choose bad. He says his feet will have stumbled off the proper direction. Why? Because we're commanded to choose life. It's a very important point. We're not
the choice.
Oh, good question.
That's a great question.
What was the question?
So I guess I would say, sure, you have a choice. Do you want to breathe?
How is it a
Commanded,
choice
how's
if
it a
it's
choice?
commanded?
You want to live? You want to breathe? It's the same thing as the Gagit over the Har Sinai. When people say we didn't have a choice, of course you had a choice. You want to live without the Torah? Well, but that's not life. Anyone here who happens to know somebody who's not from will know that there's not too many people. I don't know too many people who don't have the Torah. I mean, me and my husband were constantly saying everything that's going on in the country and this person getting killed and that person and all these different things. We're like, how do you handle any of this?
Hang
if
on
you're
a
not
second.
religious?
Without the Torah?
I'm not from.
You're not
I'm not
from?
from.
What does that mean?
I don't want to be from. I
What does
don't want
that
to be
mean?
religious.
Okay,
I want to connect with Hashem.
Okay.
I want to do Hashem's will.
okay,
But I don't want to fit in a box.
okay.
But wait a second.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You know what you remind me of? Somebody once said,
Wait. I
One
can only
second.
hear one person at a time.
Somebody, I remember I was in a group of women and there was a teacher, not me. And this woman said, I have no emunah. My emunah is on. I have no emunah. My emunah is shot. And she said, really? Well, I have a good idea. You go to here at Shimon, you can buy chickens for 10 shekels a kilo. If you don't, of course you have emunah. We all have emunah. It's part of it, to believe it or not. A Jew has emunah, whether you know it or not. So whatever you want to call it, from Eved Hashem, whatever it is, you have your path and your way of connecting to God. Because that is the whole reason why we're doing mitzvahs, is to what? Is to connect to God. That when people say, I don't want Olam Haba, of course you want Olam Haba. You know, I spoke to Rabbi Bashkin about this. Because I asked him, because when he starts talking, he talks about Olam Haba a lot. And I happen to know that the Lubavitcher Rebbe told his Hasidim to learn Shaar HaBitachon. So people would attack me, the Lubavitchers, and say, because the Alter Rebbe said, I don't want your Olam Haba, I just want you. And Rav Rabashkin said, you could tell them when they get to the level of the Alter Rebbe, they can say that too. I said, can I quote you? He said, yes. By the way, I have to digress a little bit. I just saw, there's a new interview with him, with Rav Rabashkin. And he said something that I don't think I've ever heard before, is that he cried. He cried when he was in jail. And so the person said, oh, you were miyuesh? Miyuesh means despair. He said, no, I was never miyuesh and I was never depressed, but I cried. And I love that. So next time you cry, like I beat myself up for crying sometimes.
Why?
Because I should just accept what Hashem has for me. And blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and oh no, here he is, the king of Bitachon. Did he cry?
Crying can be happy tears too. Crying.
Yeah, no, but
Right,
crying,
because
crying can also be
it's
such a
human.
relief.
But
Yeah,
we're
crying
also
can be
human.
relief.
It's
Crying is
really,
inside.
Exactly,
you have to
exactly,
appreciate,
exactly.
you have to accept.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
doesn't mean,
Somebody
I have
dies, you
this.
cry. It's sad. You know, like
Whatever it
He's
is.
talking about yeah, that is prescribed. That's the prescribed emotion you're supposed to be feeling.
Right.
That's right.
right,
Doesn't make
right,
you lucky or not.
right, right.
And also to be free, we have to have bitachon. This is to be free means, because if I have limitation, that's what I want to do, what I don't want to do, we sit in the prison. You put the wall. I want to do, I don't want it, I don't want to be here.
Right,
But
right,
if we surrender to Hashem, we become completely free. And this is
Okay.
called bitachon.
right, 100%. So Hashem has already told us that this is the proper path, right, for our benefit in both worlds, right? It says in Devarim, see, I placed before you today life and the life and the good. Making the right choice, resolving to do it is every person's responsibility. So back to what Shaar Yehudi was saying, is like, it's a choice, but it's not a choice if I say to you, do you want spoiled, moldy bread, or do you want a fresh bagel from Bella's? Here we go again with Beit. Everyone's
I was
moving
just
all over the
there,
place.
got bagels.
That's not called choice.
It's a stupid question.
No, but there's a definition of what choice is. That's not a choice.
Of course.
That's not a choice, so Hashem is giving us, he's giving us like, he's showing us which direction to go to, right? So if we have chosen to do a mitzvah and all the factors we need are present, like we want to shake lulav, and we have a lulav as opposed to what we were talking about in places, so we will get great reward for three things: choosing to do the mitzvah, having the right intent and resolve to perform it, and the actual performance of the mitzvah. So you have to keep this in mind, because sometimes, I don't know, but lulav, such a great example, because how many days are there? 7 days of Sukkot? Yeah. And right. So how many people can say that they shake the lulav 7 times?
Me.
Oh, yeah? Judy, you shake it 7 times? Do you?
No, but I took.
I
Right,
think
not on
Sukkot. Do you
Shabbos,
shake?
not on
Not in
Shabbos.
Shabbos. Do you shake the lulav every day of Sukkot?
Yes, because I took upon myself to buy a loan, a rock, and I do it every day.
Oh, okay. So
Every day.
okay, so let's think of another example of something that, like, we don't get an avera for not doing it, but you don't get an avera for a woman not shaking lulav. But how many of us are like? I know my husband's like, no, ma, missing 3. No. Don't we want to shake lulav? And I'm like, I'm just making breakfast now, like whatever. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, no, give it to me, I'll do it. So whatever. But it's a choice, and you get a choice. You get a choice. You get reward for not only choosing to do it, but actually doing it. It's like so fun. You get three rewards for one mitzvah. But guess what? It's the same as true with averas. Sorry. Yeah. So there's no difference between material matters and mitzvah matters in regard to bitachon. Okay, so regarding material matters, it's not clear which particular means is better, right? Sometimes we don't know which job to take. This one pays better, but then you can spend a lot of time in traveling, something, where to move, which doctor is better. So it behooves us to rely on Hashem in regard to choosing and carrying it out. And obviously, we must daven to Hashem to give us the correct insight. So everything that we're doing, moving, whatever, we have to make sure that we're davening that Hashem gives us the right insight to go to the place. But regarding mitzvahs, Hashem has told us what to do, right? But regarding material matters like finances and moving, that we really don't know which is going to lead us to success. So that's why you really have to have the bitachon. It's some really really beautiful stuff I have on Rus, which is like not now, but I just put it here because this is what it's talking about. So the Vilna Gaon says in the Megillas Rus, it says V'telech v'tavo, and she went and she came. So obviously that needs clarification, right? So what does it mean she went and she came? Why do you need to have both of them? So this is an action of our Torah. I hope this is going to fit. So anyway, so let's say this is the beginning of the field, right? And so, like, I always think, like, can you imagine if you had like 10 minutes in any store and you could take whatever you want? I would probably choose the store Brachy's, but whatever. I guess I should choose a jewelry store. Anyways,
What is, you mentioned that.
I know, I love this store.
No,
It's my
but what
favorite
is
store.
it?
Pitzuchim.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
Thank you,
The drive-through.
Yeah.
Really?
Much better quality.
Yeah, the cashew's like crunch.
Better than Mr. Cohen's in Chatzor?
Oh, I don't.
I gotta take you
Okay,
there.
all right,
We don't know.
We're
today.
gonna have to take you
So
there.
it says she came and she went. So what does it mean? So here she is, Ruth, with actually I don't know if she was with Noam or not. Anyway, she was allowed because of the laws of she's allowed to go in and collect anything she wants afterwards, right? You with me? You know what I'm talking about? In a field afterwards, whatever has fallen, the poor people are allowed to collect. So right, so here's the entrance to the field. So if it was me, I would go in and go, oh, excuse me. It's just because Judy's here. Here I would go and collect and go and collect and go and collect and then go and collect and go and collect, right? But she didn't do that. So she went to the end of the field and then started collecting. Why? So then she didn't have to schlep everything twice. If you go and collect and then come back and collect, that means she's schlepping all the stuff that she collected on the way back.
She's very practical.
I do that with my errands.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I bought it.
If I'm picking up stuff, I'm
Yeah.
picking up stuff, I'm picking up stuff, and then also picking up stuff. I have to carry the stuff that I went. She had completely honed that whatever she's gonna get, she's gonna get. So she's gonna go to the end of the field and just
No,
pick on,
okay.
so she don't have to carry.
Until she got to the end.
Also, most people would do what you.
Of course they would.
They wouldn't go for steps. So
No.
the problem with is the end of the field, because most people didn't even get to the end of the field.
Less crowded.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. She wisely walked to the end of the field.
Cleaning tips.
Right.
Cleaning tips. You never know. You never know.
Meaning that she wasn't in a hurry. She knew that maybe get what you would get.
Exactly.
It's gonna be.
Ruth wisely walked to the end of the field where she collected on her way home. Thereby, at the end of the day, when she was carrying a lot of grain, she had only a short distance to walk. She knew whatever Shem wanted her to have, she would have.
So
Are they
I'm
laughing
still
or
up
crying?
on bleeding tips.
Shem sure that we shouldn't have to like do such a thing, but anyways, you never know. I mean, no. They say you should, when you're cleaning a room, you shouldn't leave the room. Just fit, yeah, because you're just going back and forth. You're cleaning up the living room, so put everything on the couch that doesn't belong in the living room, and then go bring it into the bedroom or something like that. But you shouldn't be, you're wasting your energy by going back and forth. I actually do that sometimes on purpose. If you haven't, no,
I don't.
yeah. No, if you're counting your steps, you might want to do
There
that.
you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And
No,
then-
like sometimes I'm folding laundry and I want to put it away, but I know there's another load in the dryer. So really I should wait till that's done, right? But then it's okay, I'm so happy to see
We're
you laughing.
starting a brochure, cleaning tips, laundry
Yeah.
tips, walking tips, all learned at Bais Midrash.
Yeah.
You see, you didn't want to be fun. Look at the things you're learning.
Ruth accepted upon herself to do all the mitzvot. This is nothing about Ruth. She accepted. This is a very, very, very nice. There's a very nice saver when it comes down to it's called Harvest of Kindness. Ruth accepted upon herself to do all the mitzvot, even though she may not know what they were. That's pretty exciting. I mean, that's pretty, like here we're talking about that we want to choose life. Ruth said she would do it. She didn't even know what she was up against, right? So she's equal to Nomi, who had actually done all the mitzvahs. It says, success is in the hands of Hashem, but commitment and effort is in our hands. And it's valued and rewarded by Hashem. Ruth at this stage had not yet any success but in her staunchness and devotion, she was equal to Nomi and in the eyes of Hashem. And that is based on that it says Tilchena shtehem, that they went together. It shows that Ruth was obviously, she didn't fulfill all the mitzvahs, obviously, like Ruth had, but they're accounted as the same. Why? For this example, what we're talking about, our motive, our intent, our desire to do mitzvah. So when it comes down to it, that Hashem holds our desire to do a mitzvah very, very strong. And I was going to say, and even more is that we're actually carrying it out, right? This is what we're talking about, that we're deciding to do a mitzvah, like we decide, I don't know, maybe this week I'll make a cake for the soldiers. I don't know. Very nice intentions, but are you going to do it? Is it going to happen this week? Not whatever, and whatever. You want to share?
It's a speaking project.
Judy's chuckling again.
Turns out it's me.
Chuckling.
It usually is us.
What do they have that? K40 or something? Is it?
WD,
40.
yeah, there you go.
What's it called?
WD.
W, we came up, we got
Let's keep
together.
it in the house.
In worldly manners, a means of endeavor that at first seems positive might end up being negative, and also the way around, but mitzvos and veras never change. So sometimes we're talking about this worldly matter. It could be, I'm not trying to give anyone problems just because we're talking about it. It could be a person moves to a place and they say it's not for them, and then they move to another place. Because we don't know, right? Or a job or something like that. We don't know. But with mitzvahs and averos, it's not like that because Hashem has told us what to do. Okay. So what one needs to have bitachon in regard to mitzvahs is that Hashem will allow you to carry out the completion of the mitzvah, but one needs to have fully chosen to do the mitzvah with firm resolve and pure-hearted effort for the sake of His great name. That's a good one, right? Basically, we have it in our heart. We really want to do this mitzvah. And if you can't, you can't for whatever happens, but you have it in your heart that you want to do this mitzvah. It says in the Gemara, Ba l'te'er mitzvahim oto. If one comes to purify himself, he gets assisted. Okay, a person who sincerely tries to do a mitzvah will merit Hashem's help. That's what this whole thing is about. If you want to do a mitzvah, sometimes we're like, should I offer to do this? Should I offer to do this? You know, like it's complicated when we start talking about like making a cake for the soldiers or doing something that you have to do. You know, obviously, concentrate your koach.
That's your choice. There's no other options, you're saying?
No, I'm just saying like we keep going back and forth, but what I really think he's talking about is not making cake for the soldiers. He's talking about doing what you're supposed to do and taking on something else that maybe you're not doing that you should do.
Like making cake for the soldier.
But I don't, but I don't know, you know, I don't know if you're obligated.
What?
I don't know, but it's not an obligation. It's a chesed. It's a mitzvah.
Mitzvah.
But we're obligated. Women have, all women, I'm not gonna go into this, but all women have an obligation in tefillah. What that is, some people say you go to the mezuzah and you do the three things, which are, help me, thanking, requesting, and praising. Not in that order necessarily. Hoda'ah, bakasha, and shevach. So some people, I think our great grandmothers went to the mitzvah, and went to the mezuzah, and that's what they did. You know, so everybody should take on themselves. I mean, being recorded. You know, I'm embarrassed to say that I don't daven mincha. I don't see any reason why I don't daven mincha. I don't have little
So
kids at
maybe
home.
because when you had little children,
Right.
there was no time.
So yeah, I know.
you
So
got
now
into
I'm
a
still saying,
habit
well,
of
what
it.
am I, right? And in the summer also, quite a few of us, I think, should be davening. Who knows?
Right, because now you don't, that's not the situation.
Yeah, right. So everybody should be taking on different things, you know, yeah. I did when I was learning a book on tefillah with Esther. We finished it now, Baruch Hashem. I was talking about different tefillahs that I didn't say in chapters, and I added them. So like, but this is what we have to do. We just have to completely kol hazman, constantly add to our avodas Hashem. What? The bitachon is thank you, put us back on track. Is that I used to daven the minimum, okay? Birkat HaShachar, Baruch Shamar, Ashrei Yishtabach Shema Shmon Esrei. That was why I learned is the minimum. Now I'm going to have the bitachon that I have the time to add to my tefillah. I could do it. It's not like I'm rent, you know, like right now I don't even need bitachon to daven mincha. It's just laziness.
But daven mincha is not mitzvah for women.
Some people say this. Ask Alana. I'm sure she does. Right. That's like lazy for me. I think it's laziness.
Women supposed to do
Because not
any.
it's not its own.
Let's say making Pesach. A lot of people freak out. Right now, I have this wedding. I can't even talk to my husband about it. He freaks out. Why are we talking about the wedding? Anyways, could you just ask me about it? No, anyways, the first thing I have to do is get a dress, a pink dress. Anyone know where I can get a pink dress?
Have a day out, enjoy yourself.
Thanks. Anyways, pink phone. No, I don't like shopping.
You can order it like this.
I know, actually, my Kala sent me a couple things of
Yeah, you
some
can order,
dresses
you can order
on.
that
Yeah.
for one day.
Anyway, so I have to be tacon that it's all gonna work out. Everything's gonna work out, even though I'm making Shabbos Sheva brachas, and 2 days later it's Sukkot. Tell me when I'm supposed to cook for Sukkot.
When you're making the Shabbos Shaver.
Well, that's gonna be catered, I think. Because the wedding is right after Yom Kippur, because the Shabbos is the day after Yom Kippur.
Talk to me, because I'm an organizer. I'll help you.
What?
Look at all the fonts, stick it in.
Right.
That's what I do.
I'll help you organize.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, I hope this
It's
is,
good for the nervous system.
sorry?
It's good for the nervous system.
What? Oh, yeah. That's the whole
I
thing. The
mean,
whole
you
thing
can
is
totally like
menuchas
relax,
and nefesh.
knowing,
That's how you test if you have bitachon.
relax knowing it's all gonna work out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Even if I fall short, even if I do more than I thought I would, Hashem, if I can, but if I don't, it's all good. It's all gonna be okay.
100%.
Hashem's in control.
100%.
I
We
do
can't
what I
change
can.
any, yeah,
It's all up to him.
yeah,
Just relax.
yeah.
Wait, so when,
Take it easy. Yeah,
when the
like you don't have to
sirens go,
stress.
when the sirens blaring and your heart starts pumping like crazy and you're like, is that, and that could be the conscious way to be calm, like, let's just walk calm, maybe the lump check. Maybe we're gonna be silent act.
But
You should dab.
Instinctive
You should, right, exactly.
But Doba, we always,
Right, but I mean,
No,
the
but-
heart starts beating like.
Right. Some people got into the habit. Some people got into the habit of dancing to the, say, or Tar or singing. I heard this thing about these kids who are missing the sirens. Why? Because in the Cheder Mama, there was junk food and there was games and their parents talked to them. Like, remember growing up? Like, they had such a good time in the Cheder Mama, they didn't want to leave.
But did you see there was videos on WhatsApp of people singing and dancing?
So they just,
like little mini party.
yeah.
so don't like we always be talking bitachon. That's what we need to know. But on the other side, we need to think what Hashem does it for us. It's a contrast. Hashem will protect us. On the other hand, we need to do something for Hashem.
Right.
Think about it.
Right.
Do I deserve it or not? Why
Basically,
expect it is Hashem, but if I do nothing for Hashem, I don't know.
bitachon, as Rav Bashi says, is an avodah. And Menchi just lent me a book. It's the altar of Nevordik on bitachon. It's called Madrigas Adam. And I'm reading it and I am just loving it. And bitachon it's hard work. But that I'm reading this every day, I'm like fine with it. I'm just listen to this crazy Gemara. Crazy. There's a person who's poor. There's a person, listen to this. If you don't hear it now, you're gonna hear it later. This is crazy. This is really crazy. There's a poor person comes to Rava in the Gemara. Okay? Doesn't matter. He's big. He's big, a big person in the Gemara.
Rabbi is buried here. Rabbi, this one buried here.
I don't know, Rava.
I just heard that.
Yeah, he is. I just was there recently.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
across. Rob, you can't go 3 pages. I just heard this from Rabbi Wine. You can't go 3 pages in the Gemara without hearing Rob.
Okay.
Really?
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
okay.
like tied it all together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So listen.
He's buried here. Judy, he's buried here, right? Remember, not tell it.
Oh. Yeah.
It's Rabbi, two of them are
Rabbi-
buried here. Rabbi and
Abaya.
Rabbi and Abaya. Yeah.
Anyways, so
Yes, and
one person, this is from the Gemara, straight from the Gemara. A poor person comes to Rava and he says, I'm coming, I need a meal. I need fat. I'm telling you, I have this idea of making a skit out of this. I want to eat fattened hen and aged wine. And Rava says, excuse me, like you're this poor person and you are going to be so specific in what you want, nothing less than fattened hen and aged wine. Don't you think you're like, that's a little bit extravagant, you know?
Little chutzpah.
Knock on the door. Rava's sister comes to visit, who hasn't seen him for 14 years. What does she have with him? Fattened hen. I'm telling you, it'd be a great steak, right? And aged wine. And he says, do you see? I had complete bitachon. I didn't take it. It had nothing to, before that, he says, I'm not asking you for food from people. I'm asking whatever I get is from Hashem. If they give it to me, it's only because Hashem gave it to them. That's why I'm allowed to do this. And then the sister comes and he says, see, not only did my bitachon not cause the community any loss, the community gained from it. Because that fattened hen, I ain't gonna eat it by myself. Now all of Rava's household is getting fattened hen and aged wine, because that's what I had complete bitachon that I could ask for that.
How do they do that? I mean, like
What's
seriously,
that?
when I'm thinking to myself, okay, I want this kind of house and I want it to be here and I want, like, I'm not gonna get everything that I want. I know that. I know I'm not gonna get everything I want.
So
Why nobody does.
right.
But that's the opposite.
Right. One of my favorite stories is a story that most people know, is Rav Chanina ben Dosa's daughter. When Rav Chanina ben Dosa they had no oil in the house. So the daughter comes and says, Abba, we have no oil in the house. And he said, okay, like vinegar. And they lit vinegar and it lit. Why is that a great story? Because if it happened in my house, I'd be like, where's the vinegar burned? I know. We would be freaking out. To them, it was like, he said,
That's not the same as
It is the
Reva.
same.
Because Reva, is that the name? Reva says, I want a fattened hen and the
yeah,
aged wine.
yeah,
And that's exactly what he got.
right.
But he had the tough on that he was gonna get it.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. How?
How do you get to be on such a level?
Yeah.
Well, so first of all, I just want to say, don't throw the baby with the
Bathwater.
right. Because we're not in that. You know what it's like for me? I'm a teacher of Shaar HaBitachon. You know how long I've been teaching this stuff? Years. You would think I'm happy all the time. You would think I don't have any problems. Right, Judy? You have no problems? Never complain, ever. Never cry, never, nothing. It's hard.
But you
And the quota, like you said.
What?
we just want everybody to know, you use a significant change in who you are and how you face the world because you.
But it's an avoda.
But
It's an avoda. It's an avoda.
But no, but bitachon, it's not
Sorry, what, you know?
bitachon.
It's important that even a small exercise of a minute every day, like we can listen to a share, we can read a little something, we can,
Yeah, yeah.
talk to a friend about
Yeah.
what happened today,
Yeah.
I missed the bus, but somebody else drove by and picked up. Look at the, whatever hashgacha is and have a mood to the one that Hashem, just do a little exercise. And even if you trip and fall in mud and brush yourself off,
Exactly.
that was the results and outcomes are in Hashem's hand. He just wants us to
Exactly.
try.
Right.
Do a little
Exercise.
exercise, muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day
Yeah.
by day, you'll see after a period of time, wow, look at where I was holding, and now look where I'm at. But Hashem tests us at every level, but it's.
We used to, like in the beginning when I started this, I gave everybody a little pincus, a little notebook, and I put on it a big B or base, or bitachon, so that you really do have times in your week where you go, wow, hashgacha pratis, or whatever it
Yeah, but
is.
isn't that on the lower level than Reva? Because Reva's a
Rava.
Rava, sorry.
Oh.
Rava. I mean, I want to know how.
Because
I wanna know
he
how he can
exercises
say,
every-
I want XYZ, he
Because
gets
he-
XYZ.
Okay, so Rav Rabashkin, I could lend you his book. Rav Rabashkin, Rabba, he's in the, anyone in the Gemara, we're not trying to be like them. You have to be like you. It's one of the things that there's two kind of Hasidim, and I don't want to say their names because I don't want to offend anybody. One says everyone's a tzaddik, be a tzaddik. And I'm like, no, I'm not, no, not everyone can be a tzaddik. And that's the other Hasidim that says you're given a deck of cards, and some people are given deuces, and some people are given kings and aces. And you have to, you don't spend your life trying to change your cards. You change because you can't. You change it with this. You have whatever you can, and you don't compare yourself to anybody else or anything else. But that's why that's why this whole thing became, because Rav Rabashkin, who is just a regular guy, he went through all this stuff. He was put into a place called prison. He was given 27-year sentence. And he got through it. He got through it because of Bitachon, because somebody gave him a copy of Shaar HaBitachon.
But why does why does the Gemara have the example of this Rabbah if it can't be that?
Because we're learning we're really learning from the servant, right? Who's not a famous, we don't even know who he is.
Who says it can't be that way? Maybe it can't be. This is a man who devoted his entire life to Torah. Every moment of his life he spent learning. He built yeshivas. He supported 1,500 students in his yeshiva. I mean, his entire life was devoted to aligning his will with Hashem's will. So the few times in my life that I've done such a thing, so maybe I got a little gift or something, or whatever it is. But I mean, so most of us can't maintain that level of devotion to Hashem. But if you could, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Like somebody said, we were talking about Bikur Cholim. Somebody said that your obligation for health. Somebody was saying, nah, I'm not going to go to a doctor. I'm just going to trust in Hashem. Somebody else says, oh, I finally got an appointment to the best doctor. He's going to be the one who heals me. No, he's not the one. He's God's shaliach. He's the person that God sent. But maybe, and hopefully, like to say, no, I'm not going to do anything. Because you have to do something, because you need to have you're not on that level to be able to rely on Hashem.